Innocent criminal. It sounds contradictory at first glance. How can one be innocent and at the same time a criminal? Well, it can happen. It's a rare occurrence in films and especially in real life, and it made me think about the trauma that person carries. Jinx, as we all know, had that kind of experience, where she only wanted to help, but because of her ignorance, she ended up killing her friends and family. And imagine carrying that into your conscience in such a young age, and then having abandoned by his sister after the incident. No wonder why she grew up twisted and bent. And to top it all, she's in an environment where violence is the rule and people fight for dominance all the time. And just a bad environment for a child to grow up in. Okay, first things first, a disclaimer. This is just my thoughts. I don't claim that whatever I say is absolute, so if I happen to disagree with you about the film, just chill because we all take things differently, right? And also, if you haven't watched the film yet, this is a huge spoiler, so I suggest you to stop watching now if you don't like spoilers. And yeah, that's all. So, Jinx was a victim of her circumstances, like we all are. She wasn't equipped to think for herself at that age. She isn't capable of truly discerning what's good and bad for her. She's just a teenager whose instincts are budding and dominant, and her trauma especially weighing her down. It is hard for her to think clearly in a very objective way. Even for us, normal people and adults, it takes a lot of will to think objectively. It's a very difficult skill to master. And so Jinx's character is understandable, that I can say I sympathize with her. Vi's reaction at the time her friend's and father's death was inevitable. Of course, as watcher we can say that, well, she should have been more understanding, etc. But she's just a kid. What does she know? I mean, for real, what do we all know? Her friends and father just died in front of her eyes, and if I were Vi, I would have done worse to Powder. Like for real, I would have hurt her worse that she wouldn't even recover. So Vi's main motivation is justice, revenge, and love for Powder. She wants to get Powder back. She wants to defeat Silco, etc. And what I like about her is she's strong-willed. Like she would fight for love and justice, even if it meant her death. So the theme of the series is steampunk. Correct me if I'm wrong. And there exists a divide in their country. The Piltover, they're the topsiders, the elite people, the rich, the city of progress. And the other side, the nation's shadow per se. The zone, the undercity. The undercity citizen wants to be independent and had waged war against the topsider in the past, to no avail. And so honestly, I'm so confused about the divide. The history of the divide wasn't shown in the film, maybe because of general personality clashes. Just kidding, it's much more complicated and deep than that. And so, what makes the film memorable for me? For me, it's the unpredictability of Jinx. She's a full blown teenager in the midst of experiencing wild impulses. We all know we're fucking wild when we're teenagers, right? And she's going back and forth between trying to heal her inner child, Powder, or trying to protect it from further pain. Betrayal can really destroy people. It leaves a deep wound that will never heal. Or I assume, because I never experienced a deep betrayal in my life, and hopefully will not, because the effect would be me not trusting anyone ever again, and not trusting even myself. You wouldn't trust your judgment anymore because you have been fooled once, and so the inevitable reaction is complete destruction. It's probably the worst case scenario for a human being to be in, not trusting yourself and not trusting anyone. I mean, dude. But anyways, I can see how it played out in Jinx, as she's trying to talk to herself if she will trust again, etc. And I can really sympathize with her. If I were Jinx, to be really honest, I already swallowed a grenade or something. But anyways, there are lots of characters in the series, but I'm not gonna analyze them all. I'm just gonna focus on the characters that I like. For example, I like Caitlyn or Cupcake. She's a badass femme. To be real, I find it hard to conceptualize a character that's a feminine badass without making them masculine. Vi is obviously a badass masculine. What I mean by femininity and masculinity is simply energy, okay? I think when it comes to combat, the asset of feminine combat style is probably flexibility and speed, like Catwoman kind of combat. She's the epitome of feminine combat style, and masculine is strength. Of course, their upper body is big and really built for punching, hence it is masculine. So, Caitlyn perfectly represents the femme badass for me, and her character is sweet like a cupcake. Ha ha. So, I'm gonna talk about the antagonist Silco. Silco's main motivation Silco's main motivation is independence from the top side. And it's the classic ideology of the ends justify the means, a haven built from millions of lives and suffering. He shows affection towards Jinx and manipulates her to use her. Jinx is a genius and she's a really great asset to have, and I don't think his affection is real. And I think he is just affectionate relative to the value of Jinx to his plans. He did show a genuine affection, but if Jinx weren't a genius inventor, he wouldn't show any kind of affection, right? Imagine if Jinx was just an average teenager. I can see how Silco would care about her. In short, for me, he's a boring antagonist. Jinx is more threatening in a sense that whatever she does has a huge effect towards the course of the story. And yeah, some characters aren't that interesting in my taste, and of course, completely arbitrary. So, I thought of answering a hard question like, if I were the chancellor, what would I do to ensure peace with the Undercity? If the topsider were monarchy, I think the best way to ensure peace would be a political marriage. But it's really easy for me to say. I wouldn't want anyone to impose their will on me for whatever reason. I mean, if I were in the receiving end of arranged marriage, I would burn the whole world down. But their government system is libertarian. According to Google, I don't understand it to be honest. There's the seat of the counselors and then there's a head counselor, which is weird because the head doesn't seem to have a real power in a sense that final decisions are made through unanimous votes. Yeah, I don't really understand their system to be honest. And not only that, I watched the whole Arcane series without a subtitle. And mostly I didn't have a headset or a headphone. Yeah, so my bad. But anyways, I think trading goods and service is a good start, like a treaty cooperation. And the Undercity would be united with the City of Progress. A counselor should talk things out with the leaders of the Undercity and offer terms that would benefit both the parties. I know, easier said than done, but the other alternative is subjugation through force, and it will only cause further suffering and chaos. Meaningless death, traumatized children, it's gonna spiral into a bloody hell. And another alternative is independence, like Cold War, like putting up a wall or something, and let each nation do their own thing. The first one to cross the border or even make a move in any way, shape, or form, this punishment should be death. Yeah, I honestly can't think of any other solutions other than what I proposed. I just think force should be the last resort and ideally should only be used in protection, not attack. Because the famous saying, violence will only breed more violence, the snowball effect that's hard to stop. Yeah, politics is much more complicated than that, and personally, I wouldn't want to do anything myself with politics. I don't want to dance with a psychopath. So, anyways, the film in general, if I rate it out of 10, it's an 8. The plot is alright, the characters are alright. Again, for my own arbitrary taste. Yeah, I like the world building, especially. I like the graphics, the animation, and I love how there are lots of sentient species, intelligent and conscious. I could only imagine the Earth being like that in the future when we make contact with the alien civilizations. Which again, I think it is more sooner than we all think. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed the film. The tone, the lighting is epic, not to mention the badass OST. Yeah, that wraps it up for this video. If you haven't watched the Arcane yet, I highly recommend you to do so. It's really great, full blast. And if you have, tell me your thoughts about it in the comment section. And also, if webcomic or webtoon is your thing, I am creating one. The title is Land of the Gods. It's in webtoon, tapas, webcomics, and the genre is fantasy, action, and romance. So, yeah, if that sounds interesting, check it out. The link is on the comment section below along with all my socials. And if you like to support the channel, you can do so by simply liking and commenting your thoughts, and of course subscribing really helps with the algorithm. And if you like to support the channel in financial means, I left my PayPal link down below. Yeah, that's all for me. I hope you enjoy this video in any way, shape, or form. Have a good day and life in general. I will leave you with a quote from Valerie Bertinelli, just for pure meh. And I quote, happiness is a choice. You can choose to be happy. There's going to be stress in life, but it's your choice whether you let it affect you or not. See ya, bye. See you when I see you.